Hello and welcome to PAXTON ROAD TV. This is the PAXTON ROAD TV preview show for the game at the weekend. Tomorrow kicks off 4:30. That is obviously Chelsea versus Tottenham Hotspur at Stamford Bridge. In the house, joining me today for our preview show, it is Darius 3K, Sid Spurs, and Sean Hotspur Hurley 61. Before we start the show, though, please, if you're watching, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new as well. Don't forget as well the notification bell just to remind you of all things that we are going to be producing on the channel. And breathe. That's it. Let's go off. All the advertising done. Who's still smiling? I am after the game midweek.
Mate, I went out the day after, the day on the day, and yesterday, mate. I'm still reading it. Like I said, it's nothing better than Ajax, nothing better since Ajax. It was genuinely one of the best moments I've ever had as a Spurs fan. So I think people will look back at this match and really sort of hold it to high regard, because I think it's one of the best moments I've had as a football fan, to be fair. I'm not going to lie to you. 94-52. 94-52.
I don't remember too many games like that.
I don't think people understand how crazy that is, to be fair.
In Premier League history, I don't remember too many games like that. I'm trying to frack my brains. Obviously, the Aguero moment will always live long because that's a winning.
That was the record before Wednesday. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yes. That was the record before. And that was only sort of 91-14, and then they scored, I think, in the 93rd minute. So they still had 2-3 minutes to score 2 goals. But we did it in pretty much 8 seconds. I know it was 2 minutes, but 8 seconds of time. And bloody hell. Thank you, Yuri Tielemans. That's all I'm going to say.
But
listen,
what the hell was he doing?
I know, but as much as that is the the top of the list for everyone, right? For me, as much as that was one, there's one at White Hart Lane, which I remember, and I was there behind the goal, right? And it's not going to sound good for Spurs fans, right? But when Tottenham was 3-0 up against Man United, and United came back in that second half, every single goal they scored.
I was at that game.
Yeah, I was there as well. Yeah, exactly. So, you know what? When they talk about comebacks, I think that has to be one of the best comebacks.
Yeah, that was definitely a comeback. But in terms of late goals, late drama, like I said to you, I was resigned to the fact I was pretty much going to come upstairs, start typing in the stuff, all prepared for our reaction of thinking.
The last one I can think of us scoring very late was Harry Winks at Fulham.
I remember that one as well. I do remember that one as well. Yeah, I do remember that one as well.
To win the game there, you know.
I also remember. Do you remember
the only thing Nkudu ever did for us?
I was gonna say, do you remember Jan Vertonghen versus Wolves as well?
Superman.
Oh man, Superman. And that was after he'd been bullied by Traore.
Yeah, and he literally said all game that he was the worst person he's ever played against. So no, there was a lot of late goals, but in terms of like timing and actually how late it was, when I look back and I've watched I'm pretty sure all you guys have watched the highlights probably over 10-20 times now, but I look back at it and I look at the clock and I'm just thinking, how on earth do we even think to go get the ball back to go again and then actually get the opportunity, and then Harry Kane to put a perfect pass through, and Bergwijn, like you said, Sean, to actually find that finish. I think it all was meant to happen, and I'm just happy that things are finally falling our way, and I might be able to stop saying that we're actually cursed now, because that was actually fortune for us. So I'm buzzing, mate. I hope it carries on.
This is what being a Spurs fan is. We have so many, ups and downs. We have these lows to go through. We're thinking we're cursed. We're not getting any luck. But then you have moments like that. You have the moments like, it's a City's and all those, and it just makes me think,
you know what that makes? It builds our character.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't become entitled. Like those that continually win all the time. We build ourselves on the fact that we have intense highs and then long lows.
Very big lows.
And it's character building, man.
Yeah, Alistair Gold was saying exactly that in his. He said, to be a Spurs fan, you can't just expect the normal. It's not normal at Spurs. So long way.
It makes it fun though, doesn't it? And it gives us content to talk about. So I can't complain. We can't complain at all.
In the famous words of who was it? Was it Danny? Was it Danny W? Forget about it now, because now we got to move on to tomorrow.
We do have to move on. So we are going to do that. We are going to do this. So I'm going to start with you, Sid. We have obviously touched on it already, but how do you think this Leicester game is now going to influence the game on Sunday? Because like I said, had we gone into this on a 2-1 loss, having played the way we played, I think it would have been difficult for Kante to really sell this dream to the players. Look, if you work really hard, you're going to get all the benefits from it. I think they would have been definitely not a high. They would have certainly been pleased with the performance, but the results are all that matters. And when you win in a manner like that, you could see have you seen any of the Kante cam vids? Oh, the Kante
cam is so good, man.
They're absolutely fantastic. Some of the things that I was seeing the players doing. There was a little bit of an absence from Dele Alli, I must say, but I'm not sure if that's because he wasn't probably around. I don't know.
Don't start leaving.
Every single other player, every single member of staff were going balmy.
Regalon going down the line when Bergwijn went round the keeper.
Doing the whole 100 yards across the pitch.
I know.
It was amazing.
It was quality. But no, how do you think that's going to have an impact on the game on Sunday?
You know, when they say in terms of it could be the pinnacle of someone's season, it could change the entire path, the way the season's going to go. And I think for me, Wednesday could be the turning point in Spurs, in the way they play, in terms of confidence. Because obviously, if you listen to Brendan Rodgers, we didn't win that game. They gifted us the goals, yeah? But he's always like that, isn't he? He's a little sour person. But in terms of confidence, in terms of going into the game tomorrow, it's going to be massive. And they've now started to believe in this Kante. I mean, Harry Kane, look at the celebration at the end, you know what I mean? And the smile on his face, that we've not seen that for ages. And it's like we've already touched on. Every single one of them players, Lloris, what you said, Darius, the bench, everyone went ballistic. So this could be a massive game changer in terms of where we end up at the end of the season. They're now going to be trusting in Kante, and with a couple of games in hand as well, they're looking up now. They're looking up, and you know, as my name suggests, them not be underneath us are going to have to start minding the gap now, because it's going to be interesting. But again, we've said this all along, we still need that 1-2 signings in January just to add a little bit of grit to our team.
Yeah, we definitely need something just to help, I think, you know what I mean? Because injuries, suspensions are all going to kick in. I think with even teams with bigger squads than us are beginning to suffer. So I'm going to come to you, Sean. How do you think Kante, because I think the tactical approach for the last 2 Chelsea games, Chelsea certainly had a bit more of a tactical approach against us in terms of playing 4 at the back. How do you think Kante comes and approaches this one? Knowing now we've played him twice, well, we played him 3 times this season, not scored a goal against him, by the way, in the 3 competitions. So we played him in the league, didn't score, and the 2 cup games haven't scored against him. So it's going to be something needs to change. But obviously with the result that we've had, the performance that we've had against Leicester, do you think there's going to be a bit of a change of approach from Kante in this game?
Well, I mean, certainly playing 3-5-2 has given him something to think about. He's not played that formation against anyone other than Liverpool and Leicester. So it would be, yeah, I mean, I think when I finally got around to watching his press conference this morning, and he's very realistic. I really like that about the man. He just, you know, he says we're playing the European champions. So he's reining in the kind of euphoria that goes with, you know, because all the journalists were giving it, you know, what's it, that Ian Abrahams of Talk Sport saying, surely you're looking at top 3 now, you know, it's like, and he just laughed, you know, which is the only way you could do that. And I think, you know, he'll hope that we play better than we did in the first leg at the semi-final, definitely. I would imagine he's not going to be as he's not going to be cavalier anyway. I think he's going to be very, you know, cagey, defensive. But what an injection of pace Bergwijn gave us up front. I mean, that goal doesn't. I mean, it doesn't happen without the interception by Hojbjerg, the pass from Kane, but the pace of Bergwijn. You know, and I mean, you know, I mean, that's, we're missing Son, you know, and that would be the kind of, you know, you could have seen Son doing that, you know, that third goal anyway. But you know, hopefully we're set up for, you know, if we can just take a point, press home our advantage, you know, in terms of the games in hand. I would be more than happy with that, you know. I think he might be a bit beyond us, but you know, I'd like to.
You might agree
to
when you see some of the stats. You'll see the stats from the games that we played against them. It don't make good reading, Sean. It don't make good reading. But
no, I know that. I don't even have to see them.
I was looking. I was thinking. I was going up and scrolling up and thinking, blimey. But there is a positive, a partly positive note towards some of the last few games against Chelsea. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. Darius, what do you think Spurs needs to do differently that in this league game than they have done in the cup games? Because I think the cup games over 2 legs, you have a different mentality. You think maybe you might keep things a little bit cagey. My perspective is I just think they need to go for it like they went for it against Leicester. I know it sounds a bit silly against the champions of Europe, but if you look at the way that Chelsea have been performing recently, they have been stuttering a bit. Brighton game, you know, Brighton took it to them. You know, there was not too far in terms of possession difference. So I just think it's an opportunity now to maybe have a bit of a go at Chelsea. What's your thoughts?
I was literally going to say the exact same thing. I think that if you allow Chelsea to dictate games and dominate games when they don't even want to dominate games, then you can see that they are very, very well oiled. And I just think that we saw what happens. And I understand it's a cup game. We've got to be safe in 2 legs. But we saw what happens when we don't go for Chelsea and we sort of the energy is low and the players aren't sort of pressing very high. It doesn't seem like we can get anywhere near them. Chelsea keep possession very, very well. So for me, it's a case of really, really, really showing them that we are confident in our own ability and we have the quality in the team to actually give it to them. Because I mean, Dyer's back on the weekend. I've heard. So the defense should be improved. The formation should stay the same. I mean, we created 27 shots, 10 on target with that 3-5-2. I don't know why we haven't played it the whole season with Kante. It just makes sense to me. That midfield surprised me with the sort of lack of creativity. But again, I would want to see those 3 against Chelsea just on the safer side of things, just to be a little bit more wary. And because Chelsea's midfield is so good, you do want 3 in there. So for me, it's a case of just not being afraid of them and going for it. Like you said, Sam and Sean, if you aren't expecting to win the game or you're going in there without sort of the confidence with a know-how that you won't get a result against Chelsea easily, then why not give it to them? If you've gone in with that mindset that you might not get any points anyway, then you may as well go and try and take all 3. And if you don't come out of all 3, then you're going to at least make the fans happy and show them that you've tried hard. So for me, it is a case of just going for it, Sam. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to lie to you. With the 3 games that we've got in hand, the Chelsea one is the one that I can afford to lose and the one that I would rather lose than any others. So, yeah, no, go for it. And let's see if we can actually beat them and take it to them because we have the quality. I think we have the manager and the quality to actually maybe potentially get a result out of this game.
Well, it's funny you should say that with regards to, you know, taking Chelsea and affording to maybe lose this game. If you look at the point situation, just to read this out for people, we can probably discount City now from everything. City, 22 games played, 56 points. Now you've got Liverpool played 21, 45 points. Chelsea having now played 23 and 44 points. West Ham then 22 games played, 37 points. Now, interesting enough, we've played 19, 4 less than Chelsea on 36 points. Even if we lost tomorrow, we would then be 11 points behind. Would that be?
Mm-hmm.
With 4 games in hand still.
12. No, 11. Yeah, you're on 36.
With 4 games in hand. In theory, we can lose tomorrow, win all our games in hand, and still be above Chelsea. How does that sound, gents? Sounds great. But realistically, I would imagine if we can take a point off Chelsea, you know, be on the same amount of games difference, and it would be still a 4 games difference. That really sits us in good stead. So I'm going to ask Sid the question: who's the biggest challenges for this top 4, and are we in for a top 3 shout? Go on, Sid. Have a go. Have a bang on that one.
Biggest. Do you know what? The biggest challenges out of them, I'm going up to 7th, right? You can't rule United out of the equation, although there's too much madness going on within their ranks at the moment. So as long as they keep kicking off with each other and not happy with the manager, then that's good. That's going to roll, unroll their train. So that's good. I'm not even bothered about the ones that are minding the gap below us. I think the 2 that we're going to, obviously, it's West Ham and Chelsea for me. West Ham have just been so consistent. Even after Europa League games, they're just playing week in, week out. Today will be interesting because they're playing Man United at Old Trafford. So let's see what happens. If they lose today, or I think best results for us would be a draw. But Chelsea are on a little bit of a wobble, but they're playing us, so they're going to probably think, you know what, it's Dr. Tottenham, we can get back on track. However,
in the league, as you said, in the league, they've drawn 3 and lost 1 in the last 4 games, so they are on a wobble, 100% on a wobble.
And
well, they lost to City. I mean, let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not get too carried away.
I was trying. I was getting carried away. What's wrong with you? You spoilt my thunder. Jesus.
But after Wednesday's performance and the fact that they're on a bit of a wobble, to be fair, we should take the game to them. And 3 points are there for the taking. But then again, we've said that how many times? Every time we've played them, they've been on a wobble. And you know what? Dr. Tottenham turns up. But answer to your question, I think 3rd and 4th, the 2 teams in 3rd and 4th are the 2 teams that realistically we could end up chasing and overhauling them. So potentially, yeah, top 3 is a possibility. But we've got to remember this is Tottenham, and unless we get some fresh blood into this team in January, 3rd might be out of reach, but 4th is definitely on. But you never know. You never know.
I'm going to ask Darius, with a couple good signings, and I don't know what them signings would be to make it good. Obviously, apart from the likes of Vlahovic is coming as a striker. To talk about Kessie again, the jury's out for me on the Kessie thing.
Kessie's not happening apparently in January now.
Well, I'm not overly fussed. The reason I'm saying I know the AFCON is, it's a different level of football, and it's maybe the heat, the slow pace, blah blah blah. But I've not been overly impressed, and I don't know if
he did play well again in his last game. I can't remember who Ivory Coast played. I think it was Ghana.
He scored in the last game, didn't he?
He did play well.
But goal.
I'm just not sure. Anyway, that's another story. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I haven't been convinced. But if we get a couple of tactical signings in the window that can bolster the positions that I think we've all agreed that there's several positions that do need to be, bolstered. Striker being one of them. I just think, Harry Kane, as great as he played against Leicester, it doesn't take much for an injury to happen. Just something to derail that. And we've obviously got Son out. Is 3rd a realistic possibility for us? If we get the victory tomorrow, get a couple of signings in after the international break, what's your thoughts on that?
Yes. Kante, for me, has got all my faith and trust now. The only reason I say yes is because of the games in hand and the fact that Chelsea, again, are going to probably really, really push for this Champions League. Now they know that the league's not really there anymore for the taking. The league's done, in my opinion. So I think, and I'll disagree with it, I actually think Arsenal are going to be the biggest challenges for top 4 solely because we are the 2 teams that don't have anything else to play for. Arsenal out of all competitions now, completely all competitions. So they are only going to have to focus on top 4. And if they can get a player in January, then that will be a bit worrying. But again, it's what we need to focus on ourselves. And like you said, Sam, with the signings that we could make, and it's not about the other teams. Kante always mentions just wants to win a game by game. He just wants to win. And if we basically win as many games as we can, we will be in the top 4. So yeah, players will help. I shout out to Mike, big up Mike, because again, completely didn't really look at the sort of lacking of centre-backs that we have. And it is a concern for me, a big, big concern for me. Despite us winning the game at Leicester, we still conceded 2, and we've conceded 2 quite a few times, even under Kante. I know that we've had quite a few clean sheets, but I just still believe that we could upgrade that centre-back position a lot more, especially when Romero has been out and Dyer has been out. I just think that centre-back, striker, I'd get a striker on loan for 6 months who's maybe out of favour, who's maybe not that good quality, if it's just to sort of get somebody in there. Because again, I'd rather go out in the summer and pay big money for a good striker, Jonathan David, a Dusan Vlahovic. I'd rather go and spend the good money on a striker and get a stopgap in for now, just like you said, Sam, to look after Kane's injury. So it's just about being smart with these transfer dealings. I think Traore will be fine. Getting in a centre mid, I think Kante really wants a centre mid himself. But again, I'd rather get a centre mid who's high quality. So for me, it is sort of a centre back and maybe a backup striker on loan that we need just to sort of fill out the numbers and keep the quality high. And I don't see how we don't get top 4 if we do continue the way we are, because Conte's got us playing so well. I mean, we haven't lost a game under him in the league yet. And
well,
I know we haven't played some big teams yet, and I know we've got Chelsea coming up, but we need to just play with confidence. That's what it was so obvious to me against Leicester. Playing with confidence and not worrying about the opposition is how Tottenham play their best, and that's what I want to see going forward, and especially against Chelsea this game.
So the games that we've played, we've nine league games now, unbeaten with Kante. Last 5, obviously the one on Wednesday, the 3-2. Before that, we played Watford, beat them 1-0 away. Before that, Southampton, the draw. Spurs then beat Crystal Palace, which was a deserved win, 3-0 against them. And the 2-2 against Liverpool, which up to the point of the game on Wednesday, I think was probably our best performance in a league game against any opposition. And the level of opposition we played. That was the home game, though. Now, Sean, I'll come to you next now, because this is where... Right, so the last 5 league games against Chelsea. Not done too well. Let's go back to September. We lost 3-0 at home. We lost 1-0 away in February 2021. 0-0 draw in November 2020. We then lost away to them again, 2-1. And 2019, December 22nd, we lost at home 2-0 to Chelsea. Doesn't make very good reading. I'll try and make it a little bit better before I ask you the question. Oh, sorry, wrong way. This way is what I was trying
I thought that element latest.
Yeah. Okay. So these are the last 5. These are the last 5 away games to Chelsea. Again, mixed bag there. In the 5 results we've had, we've won 1, lost 3, drawn 1. The last one being that win against them, where Dele Alli scored 2, Eriksen scored. I think it was a goal in that game. I think that was Kante. Was Kante in charge in that game? Is it Kante?
Believe so.
Or did he take over afterwards or something?
Was it 2017 that got?
No, that was 2018.
Oh, then Kante wasn't there 2018.
Somebody.
Yeah.
No, I can't remember now. Might be wrong. Anyway, sorry. Does the away form give us some possibilities of hope against Chelsea? I know if you look at the last 3 games, maybe not so, but we haven't done. I would say I haven't done too badly away to Chelsea. At least we scored a couple of times in that. What do we need to do to win tomorrow? What do we need to do to win? Apart from the obvious play well.
We need to defend very, very well indeed. That's the key. We need to defend really, really well. And then we need to make the most of our attacking threat. That's it, We need to move their back 3 about, and not let them just dominate, Let's get in their faces. That's the only way I can see us winning is, we defend really, really well. Everything, shots are coming off of knees and God knows what, going away, or we're blocking everything, it's kind of, we're really solid at the back, and then we just make use of our, our cutting edge up front.
Yeah,
Kane will be up.
It was Kante.
It was Kante. I did think it was, because after that game that we won, he then changed to a back 3, and I don't think he lost after that.
He went on a 12-game win streak. He went on a 12-game win streak.
Yeah, that it does. I remember. I do remember that game now, because that's the one. Yeah, Kante was like doing that. Oh my God, what have I got here? And then he changed to a back 3, and then that's when Chelsea went on that mad run.
And then he left 2 months later.
Anyway,
he left the league. He left the league title and an FA Cup there though behind him.
Exactly. He did do that. Is this Conte's biggest match, Darius, so far in his Spurs career?
That's a really good question. No, I think the biggest match was probably would have been the North London derby if it didn't happen.
Liverpool at home.
Liverpool again would have been a pretty big match. The Mora game was quite big for people as well. I even think the cup games were a big match. I don't think this is the biggest match, only because of the games in hand that we've got. We can actually afford, like you said, Sam, you've proved to us we can afford to lose this game and still go above Chelsea if we win all our games. So for me, no, that Arsenal game, given the time and where it was and sort of who we were playing against and the fact that we could have gone above them and stuff, that Arsenal game for me would have been the biggest match of Conte's sort of tenure so far. So it's not that I'm not bothered about the game at all, but it's definitely not a game that I'm sort of like, oh, this is a make or break. If we lose this game again, like you said, we've got 3 games in hand over Chelsea still, so we win.
But
Darius, it's the nature of how we lose the game. If we get our asses handed to us, everything that's happened this week will be forgotten.
But then again,
if you're going to lose, lose by a single goal, not by 2, 3, or
and put a performance in.
Put a performance in.
That's a minimum. I expect that.
All right, then. Let me ask then. Of the performances, because we had some really good performances on Wednesday against Leicester. Notably, Steven Bergwijn, that's the obvious one. Me personally, I said it a bit tongue-in-cheek, but I'm still going to say it anyway. I think Matt Doherty, because of the way that he hasn't played for us.
Did you see his stats, Sam, of what he did in the 45 minutes?
No, I haven't seen his personal one.
I think it was either four chances created and 5 key passes, or 5 big chances created or 4 key passes in 45 minutes, which is...
This is what I'm saying.
Ridiculous.
That's why I gave him man of the match in my personal
opinion. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, but tomorrow's game will be different, won't it?
Yeah. Go on, Sean.
And equally, though, we need to... I mean, I didn't realise, Kante said in his press conference this morning that Emerson Royal went into that game injured.
Yeah.
So I think we need to... I think that he was getting a lot of grief, and I think that was a bit unnecessary, given that he was injured. But Doherty, I mean, the bizarre thing is, I thought he actually played well in the league game last season, at the end of the season there. I think he had a pretty decent game against Leicester. And, the one that Bale scored us 2 late goals to get us into the Conference League. I finished above the unmentionables. But it's, I mean, if he was to start Doherty at right wing back, I would say it's not necessarily a bad thing if we want to use, if the wing backs are so important to him. Hopefully he will. I mean, they're all on a promise as well of weeks off. They're already booking golf holidays.
That's why they're playing so out of their skin. They want to go out to Spain.
I know Doherty and Kane play golf all the time. I can imagine them popping over to Ireland and playing at bloody, one of the big courses there. You know what I mean? But I think. If he's picked tomorrow, I hope there's not that kind of deflation that you see on Twitter and things like that. We just get on with it, I've now taken to leaving my phone in the other room while the game's on, because
I need to do that, Sean. That's a very good idea, mate. I need to start doing that as well.
Because I just want to study the game, and then I feel I'll be able to comment on the game tomorrow night, about with a bit more clarity. Too distracted.
The one on Wednesday, I was a little bit behind. My Steve was slightly
little
behind.
bit. You was about 400 years.
It was about 3 minutes.
Second half was kicking off as we saw the Bergwijn.
I think I blew the game to you, Sam. Actually,
Sean blew it, and then Sid blew it even more, because he blew it when they equalised. And I was thinking, oh great. And then Sid put in there something like, yeah. I was like, is he still celebrating that goal, the equaliser? And then I realised when I was, I see Bergwijn. It was mental. It was mental. I can't. Oh yeah.
I don't know. Do you get that little app from Google which gives you the score?
I turned off those notifications off, mate.
Oh man, that was doing my head in. Because particularly in lockdown, you're getting the score 2 minutes before the stream.
Sure. I had to delete BBC Sport app just for that reason, mate. I think I got spoiled for a big game, and I was like, nope, not happening again. Not happening again.
No, you just got to see it in real time,
Yeah.
How do you think Tuchel's going to approach this game? Obviously been on a run of no wins in 4 in the league. It's people are saying he's under pressure.
There certainly seems to be a bit of disharmony in the squad, didn't there? I mean, Lukaku has caused a bit of a rammy there. But, I'd imagine he's pretty confident. Tuchel always strikes me as someone who, can come up with it. His in-game management, I think, is second to none.
He's a meticulous planner, isn't he?
Yeah. I said what he did against us in the 2 legs when they changed to a back 4, but they could have almost reverted back to a back 5, because, Ziyech in that first game definitely was playing a lot further in, a lot higher up. So it wasn't exactly a back 5. It made it look like a 4-3. It was just the way he did it tactically.
Yeah.
It stumped Kante. The second half of the second leg, we got to grips with how they were playing, and we looked. That's how we have to perform against them.
Yeah.
Do
you think? That's the question. Do you think
it's like if you remember in the previous league game at our place, Nuno actually had them. We were 0-0 at half time. We'd given them a right going, but he brought on Kante. Played Kante in a position I've never seen him play before, which is in advance.
Kante doesn't play.
Kante don't play no more.
Kante. N'Golo Kante.
Oh, Kante.
Yeah, I mean,
Kante.
when you bring on somebody like him, it's hard to sort of change the game. But for me, and this is just a
Sorry,
question.
my nose is a bit blocked up.
Do you think that he's gonna, because of the pressure he's on? I know he's one game, 1 in 5, 6 points out of 15. It's not great for a Chelsea manager. I personally don't think he should have any pressure on him because he's got them to every single final that they've basically competed for. But do you think that because there might be a little bit of pressure, do you think he's gonna play?
Do you know what? If he doesn't win the league, he could be sacked.
I think he could be, but I just think that, like,
if he doesn't win the league and it looks like it's gone,
will he play sort of reserve to keep that safety? Because I think he might take a risk and try and batter us.
They can't win the league. They can't win the league now.
The league's done now. Unfortunately,
the league's done. I don't think they can. They still got a good chance in Europe because I think they're a European team. The way that Tuchel can tactically change his strategy, his way he plays, I think he's really good for a European type dominance. If their players are all up for it, the players have all got to be up for it. At the moment, as someone's already mentioned, the Lukaku thing seems to have maybe caused a little bit of disharmony in the ranks. We've had that with ourselves with Ndombele, likes of Ali. So it has to be dealt with. So they'll deal with it, but it might be that we can take advantage of it now before they actually get over it, because they will get over it and get back onto winning ways. So Sid, what do you think Tuchel's approach to the game will be? Do you think he's going to go back to this back four thing? Is he going to just back three? It's very difficult to tell with Chelsea.
I think it depends on who he's got available. If he's got the players available to do the 4 or even play 5 at the back, he'll probably switch it around. But it's like we've all said, Darius has said it, you've said it as well as Sean said it. He can start off with a back 4, and if it's not working in the first 15 minutes, he can change it to a back 5. And he's not one of these players managers that shy to make substitutions. If he knows it's not working and he needs to change it, he'll change it. So I think what he does or what Kante does will dictate what Tuchel does and what formation he plays, because both them managers will change formations as and when they need to try and win the game. And I think it's going to be a cat and mouse game. I think whatever Kante starts with, he's going to do the same, and then he'll try and counteract it. And if Kante changes it, he's going to change it. The only thing for me, the only massive difference for me is when it comes to tactical substitutions. Because if that happens, we're screwed.
Quality of substitutions, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. It is going to. It's so right. It's going to be like a chess. It literally the cliche. It's going to be a tactical chess game, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You make your move, I'll counteract that. Oh, I'll counteract that one. All right then. Look at your bench. Look at my bench. Okay, let's forget that. That's the
problem, isn't it? Yeah,
so,
that's what I mean. That's the problem.
Okay, Darren. So we talked about earlier where we said that the approach from Spurs needs to be an attacking one, similar to what we did against Leicester. Does that play into Chelsea's hands, or does that try to take advantage of their weaknesses that they may have?
No, it does. I don't think there's many weaknesses on that Chelsea team, which is an issue. I mean, their defense is solid. Their midfield is one of the best in the world, in my opinion. I will 100% hold my hand up and say Kovacic and Kante, for me, 2 of the best midfielders in the world. And then their forwards are very good, but there's one area, and it goes in hand with what I said, and he's playing better, but he's still Kepa. It's Kepa in goal. I mean, I'm pretty sure Mendy's still at AFCON. And as much as Kepa has improved because of Mendy arriving, it's still Kepa. I mean, I've seen things that Kepa's done in the past 3 years. And if it's anything like what he does, if he does anything similar in the game, he can score 3 goals quite easily, and it won't even be like good shots. So for me, we
need to pepper Kepa.
Yeah, you got Pepper Kepa. That's a great one. You can't see a keeper who is notorious for making mistakes and not at least challenge him. If he has a worldie, he has a worldie. So what? That's not our fault. But Sid just makes the point. It's like this could be a tactical battle until you get the substitutions involved. And it's just there's no competition really when he can bring on the likes of Werner and Mounts and Havertz who aren't even starting. And it's just their players are so sort of, they have their own skill sets, and not many are very similar to one another, where when they make a sub, that player is going to make a big difference because he can offer something different to who's on the pitch. And that's why I love the Chelsea squad so much. I think City's squad is better, but Chelsea's squad allows Tuchel, who is, like you said, Sean, a genius tactician, an amazing man manager, amazing game manager. It's just he's now with that squad can, like you said, if the team's too physical, if the team's not physical enough, cool, I'll bring on Lukaku. If I need to catch a team on the counter, cool, I'll bring on Timo Werner. If I need to shut off a game and you know, completely cancel it out, cool, I'll bring on N'Golo Kante. If you need to dictate and keep possession, I'll bring on Jorginho. So that's 4 different ways you can play football that he can change because of making a substitution, and that's what I think will be the big difference in.
So for me, the first goal is all important. It's always usually in
100%,
big
especially
games
with
like
Chelsea, because look how good their defense is as well.
We score first, we can then afford to be a little bit more pragmatic in our approach, because we've got the likes of Bergwijn. If he doesn't start, can come off the bench to add that pace. More, we know he's got that pace anyway. So it might be then we go back to more of a counter-attacking style. We don't score first, I think we've got a massive problem. I think Chelsea are too good in terms of controlling games for us to then be able to score without them scoring the game. Because when you leave yourself that open, you are going to be susceptible to the counter-attack yourself. And they do play well in them wide areas. They've got, as you said, enough firepower to really hurt us if we leave too many open spaces. So it is going to be a real chess match. I think everybody's looked at that and saying it's going to be a chess game. First goal for me. Get that first goal, and at least we could then come away with a draw. I still think it's going to be tough for them not to score against us. Keeping a clean sheet is difficult for us anyway, but we might have Dyer back. We may have, you know...
It gives me so much confidence, doesn't it? Like, I mean, Dyer
it's mad, isn't it? It's
when
mad.
Dyer, Romero, and Davis are our back 3, I'm going to have so much confidence, because, like, it's not the fact that they haven't been great, the defense, without Dyer, but you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. They've been a lot better than I thought. I thought we were going to completely capitulate when Dyer got injured. I really did think that the defense, when I saw Tanganga, Davis, and Sanchez, I thought, there's no way they can hold up for even 70 minutes of a game.
Well, Tanganga for me is one of the weak link. He's been
garbage. I'm not going to lie. I think, again, it's my own opinion, but even if you send him on loan, I don't think he's going to be good enough for a Conte's defense. And if AC Milan are going to ask for him on loan, send him there, man. I mean, he probably will look better sort of partnering to Mori in Serie A where the pace of the game is not as good. But I just don't think he's just not good enough.
I'd say about one player, and it's not a Spurs player, but a player that I think a lot of people maybe had a similar sort of view to in terms of Tanganga, Chris Smalling. Chris Smalling then went to Roma.
Potentially. But there's nothing wrong with admitting that. There's nothing wrong with admitting players. I mean, look at Lukaku. If Lukaku goes back to Inter, he'd probably score 30 goals again. There's nothing wrong with admitting certain players just don't fit certain leagues. And that's not on the player's fault, and that's not on the club's fault. At the end of the day, you take a risk.
You can look at our number 28.
Yeah. Again, that I will put
trading
that
on his own.
I will put that on the club because he's never really changed his attitude at Ndombele. And speaking on Ndombele, again, another thing where if PSG are offering to buy him and they want to put a low buy option, it doesn't matter if the buy option is only 25, 30 just sell him. Get rid of him, because people are saying, oh, we're going to miss him. He's going to be this and that. And a lot of the PSG fans are really, really pushing for this. I mean, they absolutely love him. They're going on YouTube and looking at compilation clips and seeing that he looks a lot better than he is. Just sell him.
Let me see what Sean's got
better at PSG. Sorry, Sean. Sorry.
No. It's just a thought. You know how we all felt the squad was really together on Wednesday night. You know that there was a real. You know, look, I love that post-match interview with Bergwijn and Kane, because Kane was prepared to share the limelight with Bergwijn, and he was smiling all the way through the interview. But I wonder whether it's because Tanguy's away from them that there's a kind of coming together. And you know, like a disruptive,
I'll let our
influence. You know,
our transfer expert Sid can answer that one for us.
You know what? It's
you know what I mean. I think
it is proving to be that case, because I don't think he's anywhere near, and him not training with the first team. I think his laziness and his attitude and that, I think it's rubbing off, because we've all seen it when I've been at games live. And he's not on the ball, which you guys, when you're watching it on telly, you're not seeing that aspect because the camera's panning on someone else. We see what he does walking around, when he's being substituted, when he's even warming up. And, you know, like normally when you're warming up and you run back to the bench, man strolling with a Cadbury's caramel in his hand, he's taking a stroll. You know what I mean? So to to not have him training with the first team, I think it's making wonders, because I think everybody now is on par. Everybody knows what to do. They're all laughing, joking, playing. But when it comes to,
I feel bad for Ndombele sometimes. You know,
I don't.
I'm not. I'm not saying it's a good thing, and not a particularly good way to treat a player, a young man who's obviously a fish out of water.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering whether, again, this is Conte's. His head's thinking, well, this guy is training with him, but he's distracting them, or he's playing tricks. He's not, and you just think, if I put him out on his own, he can train, he can keep fit and what have you, but I then can't concentrate on the players that I can count on.
Do you know what it is for me? With players like that,
I just wonder. I mean, it's just something I've been thinking about,
Yeah, he might not be a players that don't dislike him, but if you imagine you're a player like him, and you're earning the money that they all know he's got all this talent. So what they see is two things. They see the money he's on and know the talent he's got. He's not showing enough of the talent. He's not showing enough of the work ethic. So when you're training and doing that every day in training and people are seeing that, it kind of thinks, well, I'm here busting my balls here, not getting as much money as you. And you're just there coming and performing and training, but then you don't do it. So to keep him away just takes that whole distraction away from everybody. So they're
Sorry, Sam. My only thing is he's not changed. That's just the person he is, and that's why that's the only sort of reason I feel bad for him is because he will never ever change. Even if he goes to PSG, if he goes anywhere, he's gonna be like this for the rest of his career. So I can't blame him, Ndombele, for us bringing him in if that's what we expected. If we knew that we were going to get that player, then they should have done better scouting and looked at the personal side of the player a lot more than just the physical ability. But again, it's.
But I think they thought he was going to be under Poch and Poch.
Yeah, true.
But they thought he was going to be under Poch and Poch.
Mourinho. You've had very good managers to sort of get the best out of this guy, and they've all not been convinced. And even
but they're not arms around the shoulders managers, are they?
Yeah. That's very good.
Which Pochettino clearly was.
It's a really good point. Yeah.
And the thing is, when he was playing in France, a lot of the times I've watched some of the games. A lot of the players around him were doing the legwork. He was the player that was on the ball, that was doing all the stuff. And maybe, he's not been played in an ideal position, but I don't know what an ideal position for him is, other than a free role where he can get the ball and do what he wants. That's
literally. It's weird because I was watching a few clips of him at Lyon, and he was so much deeper at Lyon because, like you said, Sam, he almost was playing as a deep line playmaker. He had two centre mids next to him who would just work hard around him.
They worked hard.
And then he would basically float and just look to pick up the ball, do his thing where he can beat two players, get up the pitch, and then basically lay the ball off and then just carry on walking around and looking for the ball again. That's how he plays.
And that's what I'm saying about having a style of play and a vision for your club in terms of a philosophy. It doesn't match our philosophy in any way.
And it's going to be weird to see him at PSG because Poch is going to want impressing, and Poch is already going to have two players up front that he has to accommodate for a lack of effort. So I don't know how bringing in a third player with a lack of effort is going to.
I'll believe it when I see it, Darius.
But you know what?
Same.
He might be on the move, guys. He might be on the move because if you read the latest reports, Jose Mourinho apparently is having wet dreams of re-signing him for Roma.
I'm not sure if that's true.
Oh Jesus Christ! Don't go and destroy my Italian team.
I won't be surprised.
Bad enough having that.
I won't be surprised.
Dinosaur as the coach.
I won't be surprised.
Let's move on. Let's move.
Let's not even talk about him.
Let's move on to the final part, which is the best part. Here we go. Then it's the score predictions. I'm not going to go first this time.
I'll go first.
Okay, then. Sid is up first. Here we go then.
So we're going into this game right on an absolute massive high, and if I put Mr. K's hat on my head, 5-1 to Tottenham, right? But because Mr. K always goes that high, but you know what? It's Chelsea at home. Everyone knows our record against Chelsea, and we've been there many times before where we've been on a roll and we've gone there and we've been rolled over. So I think, and purely because what Darius and I have said ourselves, it's going to be a chess game and tactical moves. And I'm going with a 1-1 draw.
That's a safe result.
I think it's going to be 1-1. You know what? It's going to be tough for us to actually get 3 points. And Chelsea at home, with what they've got in the squad and on the bench, it's going to be tough for us to try and knock them off the pedestal and try and play player for player. We're not going to be able to do that. So I think 1-1 is best I can hope for.
Hotspur Hurley then. Hotspur Hurley 61. You're next up then. What are you telling me with the score?
Oh, for God's sake, Sam! Yes, this is terrible to predict this particular game, but
You got to do it.
I mean, I have to say, before Sid said it, I was kind of veering that way. I think there could be a 1-goal difference either way, but I'm hedging my bets. So I'm going to go 1-1.
Oh yeah, that's a safe result. Like I said, I'm not gonna. Yeah, well, Darius, go on then, because I know where I'm heading.
Oh, Sid,
might be
how could I be negative? How can I be negative?
Then don't.
What happened on Wednesday happened. I'm gonna go for what's positive in my eyes. Darius 3K positive. I'm gonna go 1-1. I actually think that we can, like you said, if we do give it to him and take the lead, which is, Sam, I think you mentioned it, the most important thing in my opinion in this game. I don't even think the lineup really is that important. I think about taking that lead and forcing Chelsea to sort of come out of their shape and have to attack. I can see something happening. But I think about that Chelsea squad and I think about the manager they've got and how every single time we play Chelsea, we just seem to lose all of our cojones and took our tail between our legs. So I'm going to go 1-1, but it could go either way, to be fair, if we give it to them. I really want us to give it to them. That's all I want is a competition.
Go on, Sam.
Okay. So me now,
do a full house.
I'm going to go full house on this, but I'm going to say because of the result, because of the performance on Wednesday, that for me has given these players 5-10% more belief at least. Because even if you go down against Chelsea, what we've seen before is when they scored against us in the League Cup, it was like, oh, let's resign. It's Chelsea. We've lost now. Do you know what I mean? That's how it seemed to be, even though, they didn't annihilate us in terms of the scoreline. I think the belief that Wednesday's given us will mean that even if we do go behind, the players will still stay with it, And as long as they don't then be carved open and it's 2 and 3s, there's still a possibility. I still think if we score first, we won't lose the game. If they score first, it's going to be difficult for us to win it. And all of that being said, I'm going to go full house and 1-1.
Yeah.
I'm full house in the 1-1. Yeah, I can't. It's, it's obvious, the results against Chelsea in the history haven't been great. Once we've won once at Chelsea in the last 30 odd appearances there. It's not looking likely. But we have got Kante. We're going to probably catch Chelsea at the better time of playing them, not 1 in 4 games. We've just come off the back of that result. The players are now beginning to believe. They've had more time to be in training. They've got players coming back as well. I just think there's a little bit of an alignment there that means we're going to draw. All of that said. But anyway, that's what I reckon. We're gonna do something. A few more comments here. Let's see what we've got here in terms of the comments. Right then. So let's go back up here to Simply Ace. Endombele just played for the contract, and that's it. Endom Cheeseburger has undoubted talent, but the wrong attitude, the type of player that has no place at our beloved Tottenham. Endombele would be a good fit at PSG. I think that's probably true. Endom Pizza Hut, he's a luxury player. He's no Glenn Hoddle. He's definitely no Glenn Hoddle. So here we go. Chelsea 0, Tottenham 1 from Jews Nuts there.
Jews Nuts.
Yeah. Chelsea 2, Tottenham 0. Simply Ace, that's come on. Hopefully you are wrong in that one.
You know what? That was my original one, Simply Ace, to be fair. So I can't really say much. That was my
Simply Ace. Come on, you can do better than that, Simply Ace. We've seen what you can do. Come on. Part of the bus, Antonio.
If we are losing.
Wayne Bonner, I'll take a draw, but I'll go 1-0 to our beloved Tottenham. Yeah, I think clean sheet's going to be hard for us to keep. Jesus, we need the ref from Halcon who blew the full time before 90. You saw that one? That was ridiculous.
I watched that. That was mad.
That one sounded like 86 minutes or something ridiculous.
And the worst thing, he did it on 85 and then he did it on 89 as well, and then sent somebody off who didn't get a red, who didn't deserve to get a red. It was the most embarrassing thing ever.
And then they went off, done the press conference, everything, and then 10 minutes later he said, right, come back on the pitch, and one of the teams refused to come back on the pitch. Then
it was at Tunisia when it refused to come back on. Yeah.
What is going on over there in that tournament? It's a mess.
There's some favourites gone out of that tournament, haven't there?
Algeria
top teams have gone out of the tournament.
Holders are out. Ghana are out. So
yeah.
Oh dear. As she's saying, best time to play.
Anyway, our boy Ibrahim, his Gambia have qualified. First time they've been in the tournament. They've qualified for the knockout stage. So I'll be following the Gambia.
Did you see
Come on, boys.
Face? on the bench. His face was classic. He looked like
and then he went, and then he came off and then got sent off, Sam, inside 5 minutes.
I pointed to him and saying, "Come on."
He wanted to go bed. God. He was like, "I don't want to come on. I want to go bed."
Was the funniest scenes I've seen. He just looked like I'm gonna show this. I don't.
Joe, 2-1 the Spurs. My goodness, bit of positivity in the club comments.
There is positivity after Wednesday. You got to be positive after Wednesday. Come on now.
Cuba.
Chelsea stated in the conference.
Chelsea 0. Spurs.
What is Cuba on?
Full on delusional mode. That is what Cuba is definitely on. Full on delusional mode. Cuba.
I'll have some of what he's smoking.
Yeah, definitely. Trio for 20 million. I feel Spurs need 2 more players for top 4 as in a central midfielder and a centre back. I think we've done that.
I can back.
Okay, gentlemen.
Striker.
Let's hope for a performance tomorrow, regardless of the result. Because, like I said, if you go by history, it doesn't look likely that we're going to get a result at Chelsea. But performance-wise, even if you put that in and the points on the board that we've now got, we're still well within third and
Let's
fourth.
bully them. Yeah, let's have Battle of the Bridge too.
I can't see that again. That game, that's a one-off. You never ever get that sort of game again. There's just no way referees allow that.
Historical.
That's in the history books. But anyway, Darius, Sid, I just noticed Sid says mind the gap there. Oh, yeah, that's cheeky. You're gonna get clipped up things like that. If
you know why, don't you?
Yeah,
but you know why I'm doing that.
Too early, Sid. You've gone too early, mate.
No, you know why I've done that, don't you? Because you know they've been sponsored by, haven't you, TFL? So they bought a new top out with, the seats on the Victoria line.
Oh man, did you see that?
Yeah,
so it's TFL tops, and they're all wearing them now. So hence, mind the gap, because
you're just a tube station on the Piccadilly, eh?
I'm telling you,
tube station on the Piccadilly.
When you get sponsored by them, TFL, you've got to be careful because that mind the gap is gonna come anytime soon. So I'm going in early.
I just think when we do something like this, I've done it before and I've had to regret it, and it's always comes back. But I'm just gonna think tomorrow we've got to focus on that result. If we can get a result tomorrow, that'd be great. And I'm gonna say the draw. I will take a draw all day long if you're doing that for me now. All the previous Stamford Bridge encounters were ruined by bad refereeing. We've got this. They'll beg for mercy. Sod it. 6-0 Spurs. Lloris hat-trick to celebrate his new contract. All Rabonas. Kuva is...
Yeah, Lloris has been practicing free kicks all week, because no one else can do them.
Kuva's on that high grade, isn't he? He's on that high grade. Don Fabio needs to get his Sierra contract book out. I don't know what we're going to... I'm looking forward to the game. I don't think...
No, I want Don Fabio to shop in other markets.
Well,
maybe shop in the Premier League.
He's shopping in the equivalent of the Italian
shop in Scotland, even. Well, who knows?
Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's go and watch whatever game's on now, and let's come back tomorrow just after 6:30, and we're doing the same thing we did on Wednesday. It's just going wild. If that is the case, I'm more than happy. I may even have to have a drink. I've got a few more days to go before dry January is done. But if we win on Sunday, I may have to break it Sunday. That's my point. So come on, Spurs. Do something.
Come on, you Spurs.
Let's just... I thought that one up already. Got to get rid of that one. Right.
I like what Ashish said, though, Sam. I do like what Ashish said, and I back this.
Yes.
Shoot on sight.
Yeah, Kepa.
Yeah.
Shoot on sight. We'll see what happens.
Pepper or Kepa.
100%. 100%.
And
I'm sure.
On Twitter. Pepper Kepa.
Pepper Kepa.
Go on, see what you're getting. You're sure?
I was going to say. No, I'm not going to say it. It's all right. I'm not going to say it.
Yeah. I think it's better. I think whatever you were going to say, if you've resisted, then I think that's better than you've not said it.
Whatever he was going to say, he knows that it's not.
I'll see you in the green room.
Put it in the group chat, Sid. Put it in the group chat.
Quality. Right, that's enough now. I've done enough. We've done enough talking on this.
Let's go.
Let's go enjoy the Saturday. Gents, Darius, Sid, and Sean.
Have a good one.
See you later.
See you tomorrow.
Have a good one.